Hey guys, welcome to this autumn or fall tutorial where we're gonna draw these cute little autumn items, autumn essentials. This will be a really simple beginner-friendly tutorial which anyone can follow. We will be using a simple shading and lighting style, and I'm going to explain the whole process to you. All the brushes are linked in the description, and you can easily use standard Procreate brushes if you wish to. Before we begin the tutorial, please give this video a like and subscribe to support my small channel. Let's jump right into it. So first of all, create a canvas, 3000 by 3000 pixels. It's a good size for almost anything that you're going to draw. And let's start sketching. All the brushes will be linked in the description of the video, as well as the color palette. What is a fall drawing without a pumpkin, right? So that's where we're gonna start. First of all, to draw a pumpkin, you need to draw an oval, something like this. Then we can draw this 3 ovals inside of it. Then we can erase the parts that we are not gonna see, and some parts behind that are slightly visible, and this little thingy. So here's our rough sketch of a pumpkin. Now create a new layer, decrease the opacity of the previous one so that you can see it a little bit, and the size is not so important for the sketch. We're gonna resize it anyway. And I'm gonna refine this pumpkin. So just make it cleaner. Here's our pumpkin. Flip your canvas horizontally, just see what you can fix, then choose the Calligraphy tool and you can fix your pumpkin if it's not really symmetrical. It doesn't have to be 100% symmetrical, otherwise it would be quite boring, but just aim for at least some level of symmetry. So I'm refining my pumpkin a little bit just to make the sketch look cleaner, and then we are gonna move on to the next one. You can also play around with the selection tool. It's this little arrow. You can make your pumpkin high or really wide, so this is a nice stylization tool. I think I'm gonna make it a bit higher, like this, and then you can untick it or completely delete it. So this is our pumpkin. For now, let's put it here. Don't worry about the placement, we will fix it later. Let's move on to the next sketch, which will be a teapot or kettle. So to draw a kettle, we need first, let's draw a circle like this. Then let's draw the lid. It will be somewhere here. The handle. And this little thingy that I don't know how to call. The nose of the kettle, maybe, but I don't think so. There is a little steam coming. And a little thingy over here. Later we can draw some ornament inside. So at this stage we can also fix it a little bit using our Calligraphy tool. Maybe you want to make yours like really like this or like this. Again, play around to see. Maybe you want to make the handle really small. Let me try that. I'm gonna select the handle, I'll add a little bit of feather that will make the transition smoother. make it small. Let's see how it looks with a really small handle. No, not feeling it. Okay, so now let's do the same. Let's do the same thing and create a new layer, lower the opacity so that it's slightly visible, and refine our sketch. I'm gonna draw some elements on different layers, for example, the steam. This way it'll be easier to fix just the kettle, for example. Here's my kettle, and I'm gonna also add a few autumn leaves inside as a drawing inside the kettle. Okay, that looks good. We can delete our rough layer. Can delete our previous layer, and let's group this kettle, rename the group, and place it to the side for now. For now you can even hide these two layers because they will not disturb us. Let's move to the next sketch, and we've drawn a kettle, and now we will need a cup to drink our tea or our coffee. So I'm gonna draw a cup for pumpkin spice latte. Let's draw this kind of rectangle first. Then we will have an oval on the top. That's the base of our cup. Let's make a handle a little bit square. I want the cup to be, you know, those cups that are kinda made of metal, I guess. Yeah, you will see. But yeah, we can make this circle a bit thicker. We have a handle over here. Now maybe I will make it a bit more rounded because our previous illustrations are quite rounded. Can you see all of the shapes? So we need to create the illustrations for the same topic, the same collection. That's why I want to make everything rounded. Okay. Then inside the cup we will have whipped cream. You can draw something like this first, and then a few lines like this inside. Okay. And cinnamon sticks here. Maybe just one cinnamon stick. Let's write pumpkin spice inside the cup. For now, this will do. And we can merge the layers and then, as usual, refine everything on a new layer. I'm making rounded corners for my cup because, as I've said, if you are going for a more rounded look in all your illustrations, then you should keep this look throughout all the pieces. This is the border of the cup. We can make it quite thick, and then it goes there where we don't see it. Can add a few dots. It will be something on top of the whipped cream, and And let's finalize the text. Keep it simple. If you want, you can also use the text tool in Procreate. Choose a font that you like, and then it will be much easier. I'm just gonna go for a really simple handwriting. Okay, I want to fix a few things. I think this handle is too big, so I can decrease the size. I also want to make, let's group these layers first. I want to make it a bit wider. I think it will look cuter this way. I don't like this handle, so I'm gonna change it again. Oops. Maybe put it a bit higher, like this. Okay, our pumpkin spice latte is ready. So we have kettle, we have a pumpkin kettle and pumpkin spice latte. Let's move on to the next sketch. And with our pumpkin spice latte, of course, we need a pie. So let's draw a cute pie. First, you can draw a shape like this, like a trapeze, I guess. And then on top of it, we will have a pie like this. Just in case you don't know, to cancel your previous movement or stroke, you can press 2 fingers on the canvas. To redo it, 3 fingers. This is our pie. It will be really simple. Maybe we can add some steam as well. And as usual, let's refine our sketch. Let's draw some lines inside the shape of the pie and a few lines inside just to make it look a bit more interesting, like this. Check the shape, use the liquify tool if needed, and let's add this steam. These are the drawings we have so far. The next one will be a candle. What's an autumn evening without a candle, right? So this will be our next sketch. We can first draw a rectangle like this. On top of our rectangle, we can draw another one, a circle inside our second rectangle. Let's also change this part because we can see the top of the candle. We will also be able to see this part here. I know it looks a little bit confusing, but bear with me. You will see it better in the clean stage. And a label for our candle. A label and a small pumpkin over here. Just a simple one. Okay, I think this part is too high. Feather tool, selection tool, and lower it. Okay, let's refine our sketch. I know it seems really confusing. And I'm gonna draw the pumpkin on another layer just to be able to move it around more easily. Again, it will be very similar to our first pumpkin, like 3 circles, and that's actually enough because it will be really small, don't need to add any details to it. Let's make it wider, just to make it more stylized and fun. Okay, and I would like to make the candle a little bit less high. And change this part, make it smaller. I think I will return the height. Okay. So now we have our candle and our last sketch, like a big sketch. Later we will add a few small details. Our last sketch will be a camera. So I found a cute picture on Pinterest that I want to draw. It's an Instax camera with an autumn picture and a few leaves on the left side. So let's get into it. We will have our camera like this. It will be a rectangle. Then we will have a part like this here. Draw a circle inside. Another one inside. Something here. If you want, you can add a text here. I think I'll just add a few lines indicating that there is something there. And we have a picture coming out of our camera, another rectangle, a border of the picture. Doesn't matter what's inside, we're not gonna draw it. Let's create a new layer just because we're gonna draw a bunch of leaves here. So let's draw leaves that are shaped similar to the stars. We will have 3 leaves in total, 1 behind. We don't see it completely. Another one will be here. We don't see it 100%. And the last one will be on top. So we will see it like this. Something like this. I don't like the position of this leaf. Let's decrease the size of the leaves. They are way too big. Okay. And I also want to make this sketch a bit more tall, just for a stylizing effect. Okay. Now we've got our rough sketch. Let's refine it. Don't forget to round the corners of all your rectangles. One simple trick to draw a perfect circle is to hold your pencil like this, tap another finger, and you will have a perfect circle. You can even move it around a little bit. We'll draw another circle inside. I forgot there is a button somewhere here and a small rectangle here. It doesn't have to be precise and technical. It can be really simple. Okay, here's our camera sketch. Now let's bring back all our sketches. Then you can easily resize them. You can choose any group and resize your sketches. Probably all of them have to be a little bit smaller, so we can select all of them. Make sure your selection tool is uniform and just slightly decrease them. Now let's position them on the canvas so that they all look balanced and nice. I will just move things around and see what works best. Now we're gonna add a few small drawings just to fill those spaces. I'm gonna draw an acorn without using two sketches like I always did. I'm just gonna do it at once because it has pretty simple shapes like this kind of oval and a hat. We can make a small pattern over here, and to make it look a bit more interesting, let's make it wider like this, and then we can place it on the canvas. I will also swipe to the left and duplicate it. Then I'm gonna flip it horizontally. Let's draw a few leaves as well. Don't overthink it, just draw a few simple leaves here and there, filling in those small spaces that look empty to you. Alright, and let's add a few dots. This will be our last detail. I just like adding this kind of dots. They tie the composition and add some visual interest. Okay, now we have our rough sketch. You can make a few adjustments if you need, but it's ready. Now that we have all our sketches ready, we can merge all the layers just by pinching them all together. Then press on the N and choose multiply mode. This will make sure that we see our sketch at all times when we're drawing underneath it. And also go to curves, red, and make your sketch reddish orange color. Then create a new layer, put it underneath our sketch. Our sketch will always be over our drawings, and we can reduce the opacity by around 28% just so that you can see what's going on. And we can start coloring our elements. The color palette will be in the description down below. You can download it directly to Procreate or download the photo, pick the colors and use them this way as well, whatever you prefer. So we're going to start. I'm gonna choose this orange color, the first one, and Monoline brush. This is a standard Procreate brush in the calligraphy section. What I did here, I pinned it. You can see any recent brushes that you used, swipe and pin or unpin. In this tutorial for coloring, we're only going to use two brushes. One of them is Monoline, where I increased the streamline to the maximum, and Mimi marker pen, which is a part of Mimimoo brush pack. It will be linked in the description box. I love this brush. We're gonna use it for shadows, but if you don't have this brush, you can use anything. Painting section, maybe the round brush works pretty well. Let's start with our teapot or kettle. I'm gonna use the Monoline brush to outline my kettle. That's why I increased the streamline, because this way the lines are really smooth and it's quite easy to outline. Once we've outlined the shape, we can just color drop the color, make sure it's completely filled, like this. If you want to fix the shape a little bit, you can turn off the sketch and go over some of the imperfections that you see. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Let's create a new layer on top, put it as a clipping mask, and choose our second color, the yellow one, and do the same with leaves. Now we can start shading everything. First of all, let's create a new layer on top, put it as a clipping mask layer, multiply mode for shadows. Multiply mode is a great mode for shadows. We can decrease the opacity to 30%. Later we will play with that. Take the same orange that you used for the kettle. I'm gonna be using Mimi marker pen for this. And we're gonna add shadows. Let's imagine that the light is coming from the left side, so our shadows will be on the right side. I'm gonna just make these kind of shapes, so we can completely shade this part of the kettle. We can shade a part of the lid as well, and this little thingy, and inside this part. Make sure you have some smooth lines. You can adjust the intensity of your shadows. I think I'm happy with 30%, maybe I will change it later. Let's create another layer. In the same way, with multiply mode, I will decrease the opacity to around 15%, and I'm gonna add darker shadows, but they will be much thinner. Maybe 15% was too little. 28, let's try that. And I'm gonna create some thin lines in the darkest spots, on the edge, inside the handle, on the lid, and a little bit on this part here. Let's take a look without our sketch, because later we are gonna turn it off. Keep that in mind, so you can fix things while you are without your sketch layer. This will be our simple shadows, and let's do the same with light. For the layer where we're gonna add the light, we need to use add mode, so I'm gonna put it in the add mode and reduce the opacity to around 21%. Let's see how it works. And we're gonna add the light on this part, so the light will hit here, our lid as well, and this part over here, maybe this. We can choose one because it will not look, it's not entirely accurate because we are just stylizing, so I will add some light here, like this, and erase it inside the nozzle. Decrease the opacity. Maybe I will make this area a bit bigger, like this. Let's create another layer, clipping mask, add mode, around 13%, probably we will change it, let's see. And here we're gonna just create a few blobs like that. So just to create some visual interest, they will be like some highlights on our kettle. I just like how they look. Just a few blobs here and there. Let's see. Let's work a little bit on our leaves. So I'm just gonna create a layer over our leaves. Set it into multiply mode. Choose my yellow color here and select the layer with the leaves. This way we're not gonna draw on the kettle, we're only gonna draw on the leaves. Reduce the opacity of the layer, and with the same brush I'm just gonna add shadows on the right side of the leaves. Another layer, add mode, a little bit of light on the edges. And now let's start adding some small details, like some veins inside the leaves. I guess they're called like that. We can do that underneath our lights and shadows. So the same way, another clipping mask, select your leaves. Maybe we can put it in multiply mode as well, with the same yellow color, but thinner brush. I'm gonna add a few lines like this. And reduce the opacity a little bit. I don't want them to be too intense. Okay, let's add some details to our kettle. I will create another layer on top, clipping mask, multiply mode, decrease the opacity, oops, multiply, orange color, and with a thinner brush I'm gonna outline some of these details here a little bit. Maybe create a few sharper shadows here and there. Maybe increase the opacity. Let's see how our drawing looks without the sketch and improve some details here. I realized that I don't really like how the light layer looks here, so maybe I'm just gonna get rid of it. Sometimes it's enough when you already have these kind of shadows. Maybe you can use only this highlights, but I'm gonna improve my shadow a little bit. So the first layer with our shadows and orange color as usual, just to make this transition smoother. I'm gonna do it like this. Okay, so now this is our kettle. If you want, you can add a few more details. This is our kettle. Let's add one last detail, is this steam over here. So a new layer without a clipping mask. And I'm gonna choose by the way, let's add the background. So this whitest color over here, press on the background color and choose this lightest color. It's not completely white, it's a bit yellowish. And for our steam, I'm probably gonna use this one with the same brush but with a bigger size. I'm just gonna create this shape. I already said that the steam would be our last detail, but I want to add one more. Another layer, clipping mask, add. I just like to add a few add a few magical details, so to say. I like to add a few dots like that. And here we are. Our kettle is done. Let's move on to the next sketch, to the next drawing. I'm gonna group all the layers with my kettle, so I can delete this one. We can select, so just swipe on all of them, group. And let's rename it kettle. Now let's go to the next one. We can already create a group by just creating 2 layers and grouping them. So we will color our candle next. Let's choose this reddish color, Monoline, and as we did with the kettle, we can outline our candle. Create a new layer on top, clipping mask, this cream color over here, and let's add the label. Maybe I can increase my sketch a little bit to see it better. Next, another layer, clipping mask, orange color, and let's outline our pumpkin here. Another layer underneath the pumpkin, green color, and let's add this little thingy like that. Maybe our pumpkin is too high, so I'm gonna just put it a bit down. Another layer without a clipping mask, yellow color, and Mimi marker pen to add this flame. I don't know how to call it actually. Now let's proceed to adding shadows. As we did with our kettle, we are gonna create a layer on top of everything except for this flame. Clipping mask, multiply, reduce the opacity, choose our red color this time, and Mimi marker pen. So now we can add some shadows. Here it will be a little bit more complex than the kettle. We need to add something inside this circle. This area will be dark. Then this part, and finally this one. Maybe we can make the shape more interesting. Okay. Another layer, clipping mask, multiply mode, and darker shadows. Definitely inside this candle. And let's add a little bit on the edges over here, like this. Another layer, clipping mask, add mode. Let's add the light. So for the light, I will just add this, or this time a line like this would look nice. Just make sure to remove it inside this part. Let's take a look. Okay. Maybe another layer, clipping mask, add mode, reduce the opacity, you got the drill. And we are gonna add a few light blobs like this. Don't like how it looks. Maybe just one. I'm not sure about this one, so let's remove it. Maybe a light blob like this would work. Okay, for now let's keep it this way. Now let's move on to this little pumpkin. I'm gonna again create a layer on top, select my pumpkin, and with the orange color, multiply mode, add some shadows. Oops, not this side, here. Now my sketch is a bit messed up because I moved the pumpkin, so I have to just imagine my sketch lines. I'm gonna just do something like this for the pumpkin. Another layer, multiply, more shadows. Add mode and some light blobs here and there, like this. Maybe one here. Let's see. Looks a bit weird with all these blobs, so maybe just two, and definitely decrease the opacity. Something like this. And our stem, I will not bother with all the layers. I will just alpha lock it, take a darker color and add this shadow here. That's it. For the small elements, like this, sometimes it's easier just to alpha lock it and add shadows like that. Okay, now let's add some details and lines. We will create another layer. If you are running out of layers, you can merge, for example, shadow layers, let's say. But don't merge layers with different blending mode together, like multiply and add. This will mess up your drawing. So when you merge the layers, merge multiply layers together or add layers together. But if you are not sure and you have a lot of layers, then you don't have to merge them. I still have 87, so I'm good to go. And yeah, let's go back to our details. Come back to our reddish color, thinner brush, and add some of these lines here. We can also add a little bit of lines underneath the label of the candle because it touches the candle and forms some shadows here on the right side. Okay, we can create another layer with an add mode and add a few light lines because I feel like it could be nice to add something like this here and here. Not all the way, just this side. Maybe even here. I will turn off my sketch layer. And on the same multiply layer with my lines, I'm gonna add a few lines to my pumpkin, just because I don't want to create another layer for this 2 lines for the pumpkin. Let's go to our flame. I will alpha lock it and pick a lighter color, make it a bit more yellow, and add something like this inside, a lighter color, and then choose a darker color, a bit more orangey, and no, this is too dirty, so it has to be more reddish. And add a little bit on the edges here. Maybe I will move it down. And just to make it a bit more interesting again, I'm gonna create a new layer on top of everything, add mode. Let's take this yellow color. And I will add a few of these magical dots that I like so much. Okay, our candle is ready. Let's go to the next one. Let's color our pie. Again, create a new group and choose this red color again, Monoline brush. I'm not gonna give you super detailed explanations for the rest of our drawings. Essentially, the process is the same as the other ones. So for now, I'm just gonna speed up the video and only explain something if something new comes up. Now that we've finished our main drawings, our main elements, let's move on to the leaves and the dots. It will be pretty easy as well. We're just gonna color them, add a little bit of light probably. These elements are too small to add both shadows and lights, so we can add a little bit of light, and then we will add a few dots here and there. And we finished all our elements. Now we can just hide or delete our sketch layer. We don't need it anymore. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Here are all our elements. If you followed the tutorial and going to share your result on Instagram, please tag me. All my links are in the description of the video. And if you liked it, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to my channel. And I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you so much. Bye guys.